At what point do you deem Apple Store activity to be suspicious or fraudulent? That's a great question. I really like that one when we review the questions from the audience, and I decided to address that during this session. So, and it's not on the Apple Store. I think in general, you have those big brands that attract many customers, but they also attract many fraudsters. So think about it for a fraudster. A big brand is only an easy way to take whatever associated payment method that they have and translate it into money. And when do I deem Apple Store or any other store, for example, to be suspicious? It's really around understanding how your users use your ecosystem, how your users use your product, how your users make transactions using the tools you provide to them. For example, if you have a big customer base, let's say around the New York metropolitan area, right? Then you can analyze and see how your users buy in those big brands and big chains and how they really interact. So for example, if you have users who buying at Apple Store during certain days, certain times, during certain volumes. So for example, maybe a user will buy, they will buy a MacBook once a year, they will buy, an iPhone once a year, but you'll probably don't see that happen over and over again. Then you see, okay, what is the criminal associated activity, what organized crime is operating in that metropolitan area. So if you understand that, for example, you have a lot of organized crime in those areas, it will make sense for those for those fraudsters to operate in the stores. And this is where pretty much customer segmentation comes in place. If you have a brand new user who just onboarded your platform, and the first thing they do is fund the account and pretty much go and use the money that they just funded in Apple Store, that's probably a red flag. Because if you think about it and you know your customer base, you know how they behave, chances are it's not like you just open a bank account, you fund it, and the first thing you do is you go buy yourself a new MacBook or you buy yourself a new iPhone. So really, I think most fraud today that associated with those stores coming from new accounts. So I would suggest have a good strategy around new account, and basically, customers who are less tenured and you're less familiar with them and you less understand how they behave. But also, it's probably a good idea to see if you have account takeover fraud associated with those big brands. So, for example, if some of your customers lose the access to their account, will the fraudsters go and really try to use all the money on that account within those brands? So associating a non-monetary activity of, let's say, the password was just changed, or you got access from a brand new device that you're not familiar with, and then you see an associated transaction. Basically, you can have a rule that will look for the sequence of those events and flag it to you. So basically understanding, I think the key is understanding how your customers behave and understanding whether or not you have an active organized crime operating in those areas is the key to success in flagging potentially fraudulent Apple Store transactions.